gamers? Today we'll be doing how to play Japanese guide in Season 10 and 11. Japanese has been predominantly played on hybrid maps and water maps in general at the tippity top level, but recently we've seen a lot of Japanese on land maps. So I figured might as well make a guide for you guys, and I'm going to be showing you two builds today. One build is going to be the classic fast castle build into mounted samurai or archers or just mass land units. And the second build I'll be showing you is the Feudal All-In with Japanese, and I think both of these builds are very, very strong, and in my opinion, Japanese is one of the best civs right now. Let's get started. I'm going to show you two games with fast castle and one game with the Feudal All-In. Now, I will show you first how to do the barracks opening where you push the deer, and then the second game I will show you how to play Japanese without this deer pushing. So basically this is something that's been very popular at the top level, which is to open barracks with Japanese. You make usually 3 spearmen and you push your first deer pack closer to your TC. It doesn't have to be all the way to your TC, at least closer. Now, I strongly advise you to do that. Now, if you're in like maybe gold or platinum, I don't know at what league players can do this kind of thing because it requires a lot of multitasking. If you are in lower leagues, I would not suggest you to do this. Just do the second build that I'm going to be showing you the second game. But if you are able to do something like this, it is 100% worth it and very, very good. The reason why deer pushing is very good with Japanese is the main problem with Japanese is when you rush castle, you potentially run out of food. So if you push into deer and you have that extra food, then suddenly it's a whole different game. So once the game starts, you will build a barracks. Immediately right after, you will build the farmhouse. And you want to build a barracks 4 tiles away from your TC, which basically fits 2 farms. So you can put a farm here and a farm here. The spearmen will be rallied immediately to the deer to start the pushing. Behind it, you will put 2 villagers on wood and you will rally the rest on food. The reason you need villagers on wood is so that you can produce spearmen and eventually make another house and make a forge. So, here we go. Regarding the scouting, you usually want to scout forward. Maybe you can do like a scouting like this. So, for example, if I started here, I could have done scouting like this. Right, like this, and that way I eliminate the possibility that the deer are on this side, so I know that the deer would be on the other side. So even though you didn't scout them, I would know they're there. And most of the time, you'll be able to, or not most of the time, but sometimes you'll be able to see the deer looking at your town center straight away. Even though this is like fog of war, maybe you'll see a deer or something, so you'll know where they're at. Now, my opponent immediately tries to prevent the deer pushing, so he starts killing the deer, which is obviously the worst case scenario for me, but I will manage to push a couple of them still, I think, or maybe even just one. So yeah, the idea is to push the deer to your town center. I only have 1 remaining. It is what it is. And from this point on, once we have enough wood to build a second house right here, and once we build 3 spearmen, once we have enough wood for the forge, we will be going on to the gold. Now, I have chopped 140 wood. You can just chop 1 tree. That can be your kind of queue. And then we're going to be slowly working towards the age up. So I would say the moment you have enough wood for the house and the forge, just put 4 or 5 workers of the gold in order to age up as fast as you can. I think in this game, you can see my macro is tiny bit off. I think I'll have a little bit of extra food, but it's not the end of the world, okay? So I will push in this 1 deer, sadly. Didn't manage all of them, but, and this is, again, I'm not expecting you guys to do this, but I will end up pushing these deer all the way to my base, which kind of works out like I pushed the main deer pack. Now, let's continue. Kura Storehouse will be the landmark of choice. Now, I strongly advise you to put this landmark somewhat close to your main wood line if the wood line is in the back. If your main wood line is in the front, I would just say put Kura Storehouse like this, basically 2 tiles away from your TC so that the farms can be made there. So if this wood line didn't exist, that's where I would put my landmark, so the farms are made over here. Now, The reason you want to put Kuro Storehouse next to the wood line is because it serves as a drop-off point, so you can also chop wood and drop it off there, which saves you a little bit of wood for the lumber camp, so it's pretty nice. We're going to be aging up with 4, and the goal right now, as you can see on my worker split, I have 5 on food. You can put 4 on food as well. What I want to do is I want to make sure that I am going to be able to age up to castle without potentially dying and without, you know, getting harassed to death or something like that. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to try to make a tower to secure my position. Now, because I knew that my opponent also, at this point, opened Spearman, I knew that his age up would be late. In general, at this point, as you're aging up, you want your tower to be slowly building on the gold, okay? That is very, very important. Now, this game, what I'm going to do is something that you can do as well. If your deer gets prevented to be pushed by the scout, I just took 5 villagers and I said, you know what, I'm just gonna make a tower and a house right here, or mill, I guess, farmhouse, in order to get the deer. And if you're not doing the deer pushing, this is something that you can do in your games, because breaking that tower is going to be pretty difficult for the opponent, and you're going to get a lot of food gathered. So we're still chopping the wood, and we're slowly working towards that castle. Now my opponent on the other side also did some deer pushing, so we kind of knew that we were both doing that. Tawara, I would say you can get it relatively early, maybe not in Dark Age with this build, but you can get it as you're aging up or in Feudal. It's just going to increase the carry capacity for your villagers by 3, a little bit of movement speed, so your economy is going to be a bit more efficient and it doesn't cost much. It's only 75 resources. What I like to do is I like to immediately go on farms, because these farms right now are not gathering as fast as sheep. The reason I like going for them immediately is because they will save you a lot of food over time. So if I put 2 workers right now here, in like 2-3 minutes, it's like you saved a sheep or 2, which is quite a big deal, especially if you might run out of food. It is a very, very good thing to do. Unless it's super exposed, like unless your farms are here and you're playing against a night civ, you know, maybe just stick them to the town center for now. So, I got a tower here, we're gathering deer. I got survival techniques, which is something you should get if you have deer under your TC or if you went on deer over here. And now I'm gonna put all my villagers on the deer in order to get that income super quick and super fast. Now he's gonna do some aggression. He has some spearmen from the military school and from the barracks, but obviously he won't be able to do much. I see him going for my gold, so I'm just gonna speed build a tower. Because I went a little bit greedy this game, I made a tower there first. But it is completely okay, the tower goes up, and I almost have enough for the age up. So you can see how the worker split goes. Usually you only want to chop wood until you have enough that you need for the houses and towers. Other than that, you don't really need any wood. So usually you want to age up with floating gate, and you want to age up with 8 workers. 8, 9 is fine. If you age up with more, you don't really gain too much. And at this point, this is how most of the time the Castle Rush builds will work. Now, as you're aging up, you have 2 options, okay? And I'm going to show you both of these options. Option number 1 is going to be mass infantry style. And option number 2 is going to be mounted samurai into archers. Both of these styles are very good, and you can do both of these styles depending which one you like better. I tried both of them, and I tried them against different civs, and both of them work just fine. So it kind of depends what you prefer. Now you want to have about 8 villagers on wood as you're reaching castle, or just shortly after reaching castle. Because 8 on wood will allow you to build more production. It's going to allow you to make monasteries for the relics and stuff like that. So in this build, because I already have a barracks, I am producing on a Bugatius. So in this game, I will be showing you the mass infantry style. The moment the floating gate finishes, I'm going to immediately put the Yorishiro inside. And now I can get the upgrade super fast, and I can crank on a Bugatius in 7 seconds per. Why am I going on a Bugatius, you might be wondering. On a Bugatius are very fast, and they're very good against light units, which I knew he has a lot of spearmen. So they're going to be very good to harass. They're super fast, they're 1.5 speed, so I can go around the map and harass as much as I can. So the whole point of this style is kind of like the old HRE. You're not supposed to take the best fights, you're not supposed to take the most efficient fights. You're supposed to take as many fights as possible at different points on the map, kind of like to harass with small amount of units. And you're supposed to overwhelm your opponent. So if you're maybe worse with micro, I would suggest you go for this style, because it is very, very strong. Because it doesn't require a lot of microing, it just requires you to macro really, really well. So the idea right now, just like with any fast castle build, is going to be to secure the relics. So I'm making a Shinto shrine, Shinto priest is coming up, I'm already getting some of the relics. So the idea right now is to just escort some relics. Now I'm going to speed up from this point on. From this point on, you want to add more villagers on food. Your economy is about to grow more and more. I have 12 on wood right now, but soon that's going to be too many because I want more production, I want more gold, I want more and more units. You can see I'm getting eco upgrades, and if you're going on a Bugatia, getting the melee upgrades for them are insanely good because they attack super fast and they have low damage. So basically getting every +1 damage is a very significant percentage damage boost for them. So the goal right now is to just mass like crap ton of units. And you can see right now I am behind on the unit count, but that's going to change very, very quickly. So I put both first year Shiro in the barracks because I don't want to fall behind on the units. Now, whenever you have extra wood with Japanese and you already have production buildings, number one, either make walls. So I could have walled here with the extra wood, right? Started making the wall to make sure my base doesn't get raided. Or number two, just add farms. This is very important with Japanese because you have higher gathering rate around your town center once you get daimyo upgraded. So you want to slowly add farms. So right now I had extra wood, I just plopped down 2 farms. And I'm going to speed things up. Since this is no longer part of the build, I just want to show you guys how the game works out for me. You can see my army is only on a Bugatia. I'm getting ranged armor now because I saw that he has some ranged units. I'm getting the relics. I think I get 2 in the end. He gets 3, which is pretty unfortunate, but it is what it is. I see a Springle, so he's well aware of what I'm making, and he's also got melee armor turned on. So his units have +2 melee armor from that Mechtir. I do a little harassment here. Again, I'm kind of using them like knights or like horsemen. At the same time, I'm just gonna take a big group on a Bugatia and just send them on the other side and try to do the same. So the idea is I'm growing my economy, I'm scaling my economy, I'm securing my base, I'm doing some harassment in the back, and if opponent tries to contest you, you can actually take really good fights with Ona Bugatia. I go in here, but he's already prepared, so he had good defense, which is pretty unfortunate. So my first 2 raids don't work out too well. But if you look at their DPS. I killed one of the Lancers, and I killed a second one as well. And Ona Bugatias are very cheap. They're 60-20, so it's a pretty decent trade. Now, I don't know how he saw this, but he knew there were units here. So he tries to go for that too. Now, he's feeling pretty confident to push out. And you can see I'm adding some Samurai. Now, the reason why Samurai are a very good addition in this case is because if he has like Mass Archer, which would be very good against Ona Bugatia, if you have if you have 50 Ona Bugatia, like 10 Samurai mixed in, if the archers attack Samurai, they're not gonna do anything, right? Like they're gonna do very low amounts of damage, so it's gonna make your whole army a lot better. Now, if my opponent was going for like, he has 11 knights, but if he was going for like 20 cavalry plus and he was going cavalry archer, I would be adding spearmen, some samurai, and then Ona Bugatia for the DPS. So Ottoman is one of the best civs against what I am doing. The reason for this is because Mechtir can add +2 melee armor, which is extremely good against Ona Bugatia. But on top of that, he's producing Springles for free from his landmark. So other civs have a lot harder time dealing with this kind of thing. I'm doing a little harassment here. and you can see how fast the villagers are dying. So he's trying to engage in the middle. I'm harassing here, I'm harassing here, and at the same time he's gonna take a fight that he wasn't really prepared. I'm using the line formation so the Springles don't absolutely destroy me. And I killed about 4 or 5 workers. And at this point, even though he has Springles, I can just run up to them and try to kill them one by one. On this side, he split off some units, but he's gonna be losing some units as well. And this is the point where I say, even though he is kind of winning the fights, the economy that I have behind this with the amount of farms and everything is going to be able to outscale him pretty well. So I killed 3 Springles total and a Mangonel. And now we're just going to crank units and keep remaxing. The difference is I can remax a lot faster than he can. There's still some harassment in the back going on. My farm economy is looking really good, and by the way, I still have sheep. After all of this, I still have my main berries, I still have my sheep, I have these berries, and I just started on these berries. And I think this is the main strength of Japanese, just how long you can sustain without food starving like most other civs can. So he's already kind of struggling for food, right? He has no sheep, and he's Ottoman, so he had Twin Minaret and the 8 sheep vizier point. I think he took that, right? Yeah. And he's already running out of food, right? He's on deer right now. He already ate 1 deer pack. So in about 3, 4, 5 minutes, he will be out of food completely. Meanwhile, my economy is fully transitioned to farms. And I'm going to be adding more and more as the time goes. So, again, we do a little engagement. I send another squad of units. They're very cheap and very efficient. And they just end up killing so many units, or so many villagers here in the front. And if you look, the unit count is now completely swapped, even though I look like I was losing the fights. Because Ona Bugatios are super fast, he can't really retreat with the siege or ranged units or any infantry in general except cavalry. He ends up losing everything. And shortly after, if you look at the unit production, I'm just cranking units. And this is the biggest strength, I would say, of Japanese. Look at my food per minute, look at his food per minute. Because I have 30 farms already with Daimyo level 2, the farming economy is really good. I have way too much gold. The reason I have too much gold is because I have a couple of relics, and you're actually not using a lot of gold. These guys cost 20 gold, these guys cost 30 gold. So that's another very good thing about Japanese and this kind of style is you don't need a lot of gold to sustain all this army. You just need a lot of food. Now, one thing is you will see right here, where do you put your Yorishiros? So the first 2 I like to put in my production buildings. The next 2, you have a couple of options. Option number 1 is TC. The reason I don't like putting Yorishiro in TC is because you can never get the Yorishiro back. So you cannot take the Yorishiro out of your TC. So even though you will produce villagers faster, if you want more villagers, make another town center. Because if you put Yorishiro here, it's gone forever. 2 production buildings, Yorishiros. What you will do eventually in Imperial, once you get all the upgrades that you need, and once you have like 20 barracks, you can destroy these 2 barracks and you can put those 2 Yorishiros in forges, okay? But in Castle, you can put it in TC, which I explained why. You can put it in a farmhouse to get food. You can put it in forge to get gold, but you can see I don't need more gold. So basically the only choice is between lumber camp and farmhouse. I personally prefer lumber camp because having extra wood will allow you to create more and more farms, whereas the farmhouse will only allow you to get more food per minute. So basically the scaling on the lumber camp is a lot better because you'll be producing more farms, which means more food. So that's what I do, and then in Imperial you can destroy these 2 and you can make a bunch of forges and put all the Yoroshiros inside of them because gold in Imperial is very important. So now what we can do is, like I said, like the old HRE with mass men-at-arms spam, you send 1 group to the left, you send 1 group to the right, and you make it super hard for your opponent to deal with this. You can see I have some units here. I'm gonna run by some units in the back. I'm having some units running in here, and I already have 40 age up. After all of that, I can age up to Imperial too. which is kind of crazy. And now I feel like I have insane amounts of units, so I can just commit. I just right click the town center, don't even need rams or anything like that. And even though he has really good comp against this, he just does not have economy to basically fight it. So even here, he has Sipahi, Knights, Men-at-Arms, and Janissaries. You'll see I'll eat up his army because of the DPS of my army is very, very good. More units are being pumped out. I already got the upgrade, so they're elite right now. We trade, but I just killed like 6 Knights and 6-7 Sipahi and 6-7 Men-at-Arms. And look at that. I'm remaxing, but he is not, because his economy is in a very, very, very bad spot. So now this is very awkward for him, because does he make archers? Does he make crossbows? If I have samurai, if he has to target fire, it's too much micring. And another never-ending wave of units is coming once again. Look at that. It's just a lot of units. I got the elite army tactics as well, so now these Onabugashas are hitting for 16 damage? Why is it changing from 16 to... maybe they're not in range? So now you can just go for it. And even though he has mass Springles, again, the numbers are not there. I can just engage over here and end up killing everything. So if you're not good, like I said, if you're not good with microing and you want to play Japanese, I would definitely suggest you to go for this style. Now the second style I will show you not only is going to be Mounted Samurai and Yumi archers, but it's also going to be without the deer pushing, because I wanted to include one game where I did not push the deer so you guys can see what that game looks like, because I understand not everyone wants and not everyone can do the deer pushing, so I wanted to include a game without it. So this game was on Carmel, which is you start with 3 deer. But so what I'm going to do here is not open barracks. I'm just going to go straight on the deer. Now I want to note something. If we weren't playing on Carmel, let's say this is Dry Arabia, and I don't want to push the deer, I would open with 1 villager to build a farmhouse on the berries. I would immediately get Tomara upgrade, and then I would gather the berries first. Now the reason you want to gather the berries first, so that you don't run out of food as you're aging up to castle, okay? That's it. Now in this game, because we're playing on Carmel, I went for survival techniques first, because I am on deer, and I do plan to go on the other deer as well. Now, if you're playing against a civilization that is doing professional scouting, you can see I go for Tomara here too. If you're playing against a civilization that goes for professional scouting, one of the ways you can deny it with Japanese, is by going early on deer and putting a tower there, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send a lot of villagers on the wood. I'm gonna get that started, building a house so I don't get supply blocked. Or pop cap, and I'm immediately going to go over here on the deer. Now, why am I doing this? Well, I'm playing against a civilization that loves going for pro scouting. So if I manage to build a farmhouse here, maybe a tower or 2, not only I secure all these deer for myself, but I also deny it from the opponent without actually making any units, right? So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Making a little stable. Now, the stable part you can do, you don't need to do it. I could have just aged up from here on out. I made a couple of horsemen just to harass my opponent a little bit, but again, you don't have to do it. So this is something that I like to do against pro scouting. Just make a couple of horsemen, make them, make some spearmen, and just kind of bully them a little bit. We got Daimyo, I'm gonna get Uma Bannerman. Again, you don't need to do this part. You can just age up to castle straight away. It's completely up to you. So I think this causes a lot of problems for your opponent. It's just very annoying to deal with. So it's a way to alleviate pressure from yourself, so the opponent will not harass you. You bully them, but you're also rushing castle at the same time. This was a misclick. Don't pay attention to that. Don't pay attention to that. That's why my castle is a little bit delayed. Now I'm aging up finally. And basically what I managed to do is, if you look at the units killed, I managed to kill a couple of scouts. I'm keeping my opponent honest in like forcing his scouts to reset the deer and all that. So they'd have to drop them and pick them up again and so on and so forth. Which is pretty good. And your opponent doesn't know how many units you're gonna make, so you can do quite a bit with this. But again, don't need to do it. You could just rush castle straight away with the tower on your gold. Now what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start making Yumis, because I know he has spearmen, and I'm going to go into mounted samurai, so my comp will be mounted samurai plus Yumi. And again, my goal here is going to be to get the relics. So you can see I have 13 on wood because I want more production. I want monasteries. And I want to be able to keep producing units, right? At the same time, we're gonna get more gold. We're gathering food, so we're looking pretty good. And again, with these guys, I'm just going around and harassing, preparing for the big battle. Now you have Yumis. Yumis are very good, by the way. A lot of people think they're very bad because they have one less damage, but they're very cheap. They are only 25 food, 35 wood. And you can get a lot of damage done with them because they're very fast. You can have a lot of them and you can kite very easily. So they're very good to kite your opponent with. And that way you lose a lot less of them. But obviously, style like this is a lot more micro intensive. So, the plan now, again, is to get all the relics. I'm getting more production buildings. I have 2 archer ranges now. I have the Shinto Shrine. I'm getting gold. I'm getting the upgrades as well, and just producing a lot of units. You can see China has, because he's on deer and because China is China and he has bajillion units, I'm trying to do some raiding here. Trying to do some harassing as much as I can. I do end up losing some villagers here. And if you look at the unit count, managed to deny here. So the unit count, he does have a lot more, but that is the strength of China in general. It's a very strong civ. So even though the unit count looks really bad, right? Like, I mean, it looks like I'm very far behind. I have 3 relics, right? 4th one right here. I have, what are they called? I have Yorishiros. I have some farms already, so it's not all that bad. And on top of that, I have archers that I actually counter spearmen and crossbows with. So one of my units counters both of his. So the idea behind this is to do as much raiding as you can with mounted samurai while building up an army and eventually going for a big push. So I'm going to try to take the middle with the Springle Towers. On this map specifically, it's very important to get the big gold in the middle because this map has a bunch of small golds and not a lot of golds in general. So you can see right here, I'm trying to engage him so I can kite backwards. I wanted to raid at the same time, but he just pushes through the middle, and now the game turns into a lot of microing back and forth. Which is why I said this style is a lot more micro-taxing, because you have to kite constantly with your archers, but it's also very good and you can be very efficient with it. So you can see how many units I'm killing, but he just has more units than I do. So I hold here, which is very nice. Now, I did kill 5 workers in the back, he just killed a lot more. And as long as I keep kiting, the fight is going to be good in my favor. I'm going to just speed this up because at this point we're just fighting. But like I said, this kind of style is very good, very hard. And the idea is same as always. If you're doing this castle rush with Japanese, I will not run out of food first, he will. So right now I'm on the boar. I want you to, let's just do a comparison for the food. So I have a couple of deer here. I have a berry bush right here. I have a boar here, triple berries here, and a full like 10 or 11 deer pack here. On top of that, another berry bush, and I have sheep, right? So that's all the food that I have 13 sheep. On his side of the map, he has 2 berry bushes, a little boar here, and he's already been gathering on this board in this berry bush, which means he will be running out of food a lot quicker than I will. So the same principle remains, where I want to just keep fighting, keep putting pressure until my opponent runs out of food, because then I still will be able to pump on units, and that's where your big advantage is with Japanese, especially when you're doing this castle rush build. So I'm trying to deny the gold, but he wasn't even on the gold because China taxes are an interesting thing. Let's just say that. He's not mining any gold, and he's 1.6k gold. And now, after all of that, I'm just fully pumping units. I was doing a lot of harassment here that I didn't show. I was doing harassment wherever I could, and now the worker count is starting to show. I'm killing more and more workers, 21 right now. And now when the main fight begins, I have Yumi versus Crossbow Spearman, which is going to be very, very good for me. And again, with a metric crap ton of kiting, you will get better engagement than your opponent, more rating, and eventually we'll go for the final push, like I said, and end the game. So you can see the farming eco is already started, right? He has no farms. So if I just trade 50-50, right? If the game just keeps going and I'm trading 50-50, that game I will win in the end, because he will run out of food, and the moment he starts transitioning to farms, he's dead. And that's pretty much it. Yumis are extremely cheap, by the way. Extremely cheap. 25 food only, which is crazy. So yeah, those are the two styles. Now I'm going to show you the game. I've played like 12 games for this, so I finally got them. So that was a Russian castle with Japanese, reasons behind it, why I'm doing stuff, and so on and so forth. What to focus on. Now, the scouting is very important with castle rushing specifically, because whenever you do a castle rush, if the opponent is going for knights, right? Maybe you'll need to do a wall here and there. Sometimes you'll need to do 2 towers on your gold. The good thing about pushing the deer build that I showed you is that you have barracks already and some spearmen. So if you're playing against a knight civ, that build is really, really good. Now I'm going to show you how to all in with Japanese in Feudal Age. If I were to pick builds, just to kind of give you an explanation, if I were to pick which build would I use against which civ? If I played against knight civs in general, I think castle rushing is just better, because you don't have knights and they do, and the longer the game goes, it's probably not going to work out too well for you. So if you're playing against French or Rus or JD or whatever other civ that has knights in Feudal Age, I would advise you to do the perfect strat, I think, is the deer pushing into fast castle. And if you're playing against civs that don't have knights, I think either fast castling is completely okay, or doing this Feudal All-In. And we're going to be playing in this one against China again. And what I'm going to be doing is basically full Feudal All-In with samurais. Samurais are very, very strong in Feudal, as long as you manage to get your economy in a really, really good spot and you're able to mass a lot of them. So we're basically doing the similar thing to last game, except this time I went farmhouse. And this game, by the way, I did not do deer pushing, because I wanted to show you that you can do this build without deer pushing. Deer pushing is not mandatory. It's just a bonus thing that you can do. So I don't want you guys to think that you have to do deer pushing. You don't, and I showed it in this game right here. So I made a farmhouse. I upgraded Tovara immediately, and now we're gonna go on sheep in order to age up. And again, Kura storehouse in the back next to the wood line with enough space for the farms. We're gonna leave 3 villagers on gold. The reason we want 3 villagers on gold is to get the upgrades and to get the daimyo eventually, so we can get a bannerman 2. We're gonna leave 4 on food for the villager production, and then we're gonna rally onto the wood. 8 on wood for this build is fine in my opinion, because you don't need too much wood. I am not going to be producing archers, and the only thing that I'm going to be using wood for is towers on deer and production buildings. So yeah. So right now I'm making stable immediately. So I mentioned we're going to do a samurai all-in, but I think you should always open stable, because stable forces the opponents to go for spearmen. It forces them to be a little bit defensive, so you can kind of get the upper hand in the tempo in the game. So he's going for pro scouting. So what I'm going to do is get this horseman out and try to again poke the scouts getting the deer. Just be as annoying as possible. You can see he's already spamming spearmen, so it's working out so far. Behind this, we're going to slowly add more and more barracks, and we're going to start making samurais. Now look again what I'm doing here. Just like last game, I took 5 villagers. I have 8 on wood, and I took 5 villagers and I put them on the first deer pack. So not only I get the deer pack for myself, I will also deny it from his pro scouting. And because I'm going horseman, he has to play defensive so I can secure this deer pack, which is very, very important, okay? I'm gonna go 4 barracks, 1 stable, and I'm still gonna make horsemen here and there. Farming, I'm still putting workers there. I already got +1 weapon for the horsemen. I already got their wheelbarrow level 2. I got lumber preservation, and I got survival techniques for the deer. So here I'm just harassing again. So the point with these horsemen is not to kill him, it's not to do some severe damage, it's only to buy myself time and prepare my main push, okay? So again, I have a little bit of extra wood. I just plopped down 2 farms. I have only 3 guys on wood at this point because I don't need more wood. I have full production buildings. I'm not gonna be making anything crazy with it, so I just left 3 on wood. And I'm gonna take the other 5 villagers and I'm gonna put them on the other deer pack and also make a tower. What you can also do is I made 2 spearmen to just send them there to patrol in case the scouts arrive. So now, when those guys arrive there, my economy is fully set up. Look how many farms. I already have 8 farms cooking. I added 2 of my own because I had more extra wood I didn't need, which is, again, what you should always do. Daimyo is coming out and the samurais are being built. So the game looks pretty even right now, right? Obviously he has deer, but I am also gathering the deer too. And after all the harassment, he has 9 spearmen, which these guys are completely useless. Even if you made horsemen now, those are going to be useless too. So now we can start fighting, and I already have +1 attack damage, about to get +2, and I have +2 ranged armor. So my samurais got 4 armor right now, which means that any ranged units will be doing very low amounts of damage. And the reason why I thought this game was a very good one to show you guys is because China is one of the hardest civs to all in because of the town center shooting hand cannon, and because of the Barbican, and because of Zuginu. So normal archer in this situation would only be doing 2 damage per hit, but Zuginu will still be able to do more than that because basically if they have +1, they will be doing 1 damage times 3, so they're going to do 3 damage per hit, and they can do a pretty good job kiting, and China is one of the best civs at the top level. So I wanted to show you a game against a strong civ so you can see how it works and how well it can work. I'm getting siege engineering. Because I'm getting siege engineering, I put 5 more on wood just to be able to afford rams. And you can see my worker split right here. It's basically most of it on food, 8 on gold, and 8 on wood for the rams. So I'm making a ram right now. He sees it. These spearmen are completely useless. I mean, the thing is, what do you make against samurai, right? So the interesting thing about this is because I have 3 horsemen, he kind of cannot go pure Zuginu because I can just make more horsemen and then it's Zuginu versus samurai plus horsemen, which is not going to work out. But if he keeps making spearmen, they're completely useless against samurai and is just feeding me units. So look at how much damage they're doing, and even if he kites, the damage he's doing to samurai is very, very little. So look, I mean, that one samurai is just like not taking any damage. And at this point, I just want to make another ram so I can run him down. I put a couple of units to chase him. Look how little damage they do. So even though he kills 1, he ends up losing a couple because he has a lot more stuff than he needs to do. So what I do here is I send a couple of samurais into his food line, which is what you can always do. A couple of units just to distract your opponent, idle their food economy, and now I just go for it. So my eco is just full pumping units, full producing samurais. I got all the upgrades I need. I put 2 rams on the Barbican, and I just dive the TC. So again, this is the worst Sid, possibly the worst Sid you can do this against, because of Zuginu, because of the Barbican and hand cannon attack. And still, I just go straight under the town center, and he cannot really kill the samurai. So I end up, he's starting to age up, but he's about to have full idle economy because the units are not going to stop, and he ends up tapping out. I think this build is pretty strong, and if you execute it correctly and just get into this position where you're amassing samurais, you're going to be in a very good spot, and the opponent, especially low leagues, is going to have a lot of trouble dealing with this. Now, I do want to say, if you're playing against a Knight Civ, do not do this build, because the Knights will be able to deal very well with this. What you could try is maybe like Horsemen with some Spearmen and Samurai, but in general, I think if you're playing against a Knight Civ, you want to do the other build, aka the Castle Rush that I showed you guys earlier. So that's it. That is how to play Japanese in Season 10 and Season 11. If something changes in a new patch and these builds or guides are not viable anymore, I will make sure to update you guys. But I think this is genuinely the best way to play Japanese right now. So there it is. I'll be making the rest of the guides for Season 10 and 11 with every single civilization. So if you need any other guides, check out my YouTube channel. They're probably there for all the other civs. And if they're not, I will upload them. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for watching. Check me out on Twitch. I'm probably live right now. And if you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going.